today I have a very interesting guest. It is someone who, we know each other through friends, but I've never met you until today. And what I thought was interesting was just little things that I've heard about you made me really curious about your story. So, let's talk a little bit about your gender and sexuality, and how do you kind of see yourself and feel yourself?
So I identify as genderqueer and as a woman. So I guess I kind of think of like genderqueer as being the adjective and woman as being the noun. So like growing up, I always thought of myself as like a tomboy.
Yeah.
But later, like I kind of decided that like I think it goes like a bit farther than that for me, or I have more of a need to like explore my own boundaries like with my gender. So yeah, I started identifying as genderqueer like a few years ago, and like I was on T for maybe 6 months or so, like during that time.
And that's the part that's really interesting to me, that you took that step to actually do a little bit of sort of hormone, what would you call it, like transitioning or just hormone enhancing?
Something like that. I don't know, like...
What made you take that step, like actually take that step to go to use testosterone to be
Well, for a couple of things. First of all, like, I never really liked the way my voice sounded before.
So you noticed a real change?
Yes. Like right now, the way that I perceive my voice when I hear it, it's kind of androgynous right now, which I really like. And depending on how I use my voice, I can kind of, like... People might perceive, like on the phone, people sometimes think I'm a man, sometimes they think I'm a woman, just depending on what I'm doing, and I like having that option. Whereas before, my voice was like much higher pitched, and like, I don't know, whenever I would hear a recording of my voice, like it would sound really girly, and that's not a bad thing, but it felt like it to me, like it just didn't feel like me, I guess.
Interesting. So that was like a dysphoria for you. You
Yeah.
were like, this voice, it's not me. Like, I don't feel right and real. Like,
yeah, and I also like wanted to be like more muscular. Like I remember before puberty, I was like really into sports and stuff, and then I hit puberty, and the boys like kind of kept on like progressing, and like I kind of like felt like I was getting weaker, and I wanted to like be able to have like more muscles and stuff, even if it was like only temporary. And I guess the other reason is like I just wanted to see like how far I could go with that before like it started making me uncomfortable, like if I went too far. So like finding where that line is like, for me.
And it was around 6 months, is that right?
Yeah, and that was like on a low dose. Like I think what it was is like I already had like, for a woman, like a lot of like body hair, so the tea didn't really do a whole lot for that. But I was getting facial hair to the point where if I had continued it, it would have been hard to like hide. Whereas like right now, I can still like, if I shave it off, like it doesn't really show very much anymore.
So you do like appearing as a woman and being a woman, like connecting with others as a woman?
Yes.
That's and you didn't notice? Did you notice any mental changes or?
I had a lot of other mental stuff going on at the time, so it's really, I mean, it's hard to say. Like, I just had too much else going on, so...
The results that you got, would you say they really improved your kind of self-acceptance in life? Sort of, did they improve your, like, happiness, or...?
I mean, my voice is really, like, the only change that's permanent, that's noticeable, and I definitely like it. No, I think it was, like, the right decision at the time, and it was, like, a good experience for me.
Has it affected the way that you connect with men and women, or anything like that? Did it change your...
I don't think it really did. Like, come to think of it, like, no. I mean, at least not in a way that I've really noticed, so...
Okay, and it's just so interesting and different. Did you, when you were doing it, did you talk to anyone who was doing something similar, or did you read about people who felt like you did? Like,
I didn't find a lot of information like about other like genderqueer people, especially people who like wanted to, do hormone therapy, but maybe not necessarily permanent.
Throughout time, this genderqueer part of you has been a very present part of your identity?
Yeah, I mean, since I kind of adopted it, before that, like, it wasn't really something I considered, I guess. Like, tomboy was, like, part of my identity, but, like, I'd never, like, considered, like, hormone therapy or any of that sort of thing.
Was it your idea or, like, your doctor's idea? Or
Mine.
Your idea? You didn't ever change your pronouns or anything?
No, and, like... As a child, even though like I considered myself a tomboy, like I didn't have like a super strong sense of dysphoria. It was mostly, especially in terms of my body, like it was mostly social. Like like I would get upset when like I couldn't play like with the boys and do the things that boys were doing, like without getting made fun of or just being excluded or whatever. I mean, like I identify as a woman, but still kind of different. So,
okay. Yeah, and then what's your sexuality?
I'm pansexual.
Pansexual.
Yeah.
Nice. All options open. Great. It's like a superpower.
Yes.
Yeah. Man.
Best of every world.
That's right. Man, thanks so much for
you're welcome.
kind of sharing that interesting story, because it's one you don't hear about very often.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it really worked out for you.
Yeah, I think it did.
Great.
Yeah. Whee!